In an effort to attract and retain more truck drivers to the profession, a new bipartisan bill has been introduced in the House of Representatives. If passed and put into effect in its current form, the bill would grant a tax refund of up to $7,500 for drivers holding a valid Class A CDL who drive at least 1,900 hours a year. It would also allow for a refund of up to $10,000 for new truck drivers or those enrolled in a registered trucking apprenticeship. We'll cover more details in this month's news story. In addition to that, we dive into the latest truck driver recruiting data, freight data, and we check back in with Jason Miller for his latest take and our economic update. For Randall Reilly, I'm Joshua Miller, and this is the 30-Day Reset. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our show. Every month we bring you all the information and data surrounding the state of truck driver recruiting and freight to help you make better informed decisions. If you're joining us for the first time, or you just haven't done it yet, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. In addition to the 30-Day Reset, we also have regular content like Digging Deeper and the Recruiting Roundup. Those premiere new episodes each and every month. And don't forget that everything we go over in today's show is also available to you for absolutely free. All you have to do, click the link down in the description if you're over on YouTube, or you can fill out the form below the video player on our Randall Reilly site. The April download for the 30-Day Reset has all the data, charts, and graphs we cover and flash on the screen here in today's show, plus even more that we just don't have time to cover on today's show. Now, let's get into our show today, starting with Trucking by the Numbers, brought to you by Stratas. Job seeker intent for truck driving jobs remains high. In fact, the Google search activity for the first half of March reached its highest level since all the way back in August. While fewer people are visiting landing pages for truck driving jobs in March, those that do visit are now converting at higher rates. Over on the cost side of things, owner-operator hire costs were pretty darn great in February. They dropped by 27% in February, hitting the lowest level since July. That low cost for owner-op hires was primarily due to the most favorable lead-to-hire ratio on record. Company driver activity, on the other hand, saw increases in campaigns following seasonal trends as hire costs rose by 14% for company drivers when the final tallies for February came in. For now, the overall market outlook seems positive, but still uncertain. FTR is still predicting at the moment that conditions will remain consistently positive for carriers over the next 2 years. However, the uneasiness and unpredictability of the rapidly evolving trade policies and talks of all the tariffs do have the potential to upend these forecasts. Speaking of market conditions, when we look at the load volumes and spot rates, overall load volume rose by 21% year over year, while still lagging 12% below that 5-year average. Spot rates were up 4.7% year over year and down 4% compared to the 5-year average. Looking at it by the segment, dry van load volume fell 2%, while spot rates dipped by slightly less than 1% year over year. Refrigerated loads came in 8% below the same week last year as spot rates dipped by 4%, and flatbed loads jumped 33% year over year, while the spot rates rose by 5% year over year. Now remember, if you want a more detailed breakdown of any of the numbers, including all the 5-year averages on load volumes and spot rates, or full charts for search activity, CPL, and CPH, we can get all of that and more in this month's download, again, available down below. Now, let's take a look at this month's news story. The Strengthening Supply Chains Through Truck Driver Incentives Act. A new bipartisan bill introduced into the House last week was created to address the growing driver retention crisis. Co-sponsors of the bill, Democrat Pat Ryan and Republican Zachary Nunn, released a statement regarding the new effort, reading in part. The bill aims to remedy supply chain issues and bring down the cost by providing incentives for truck drivers through a refundable tax credit for current drivers and an enhanced credit for new drivers and people in trucking apprenticeship programs. If both the House and Senate approve the bill and it were to be signed into law by the President, the bill in its current form would do a few things. Number one, it would create that refundable tax credit of up to $7,500 for truck drivers holding that valid Class A CDL who drive at least 1,900 hours in the year. This credit would be valid in 2025 and 2026. It would also create a credit of up to $10,000 for all the new drivers or those enrolled in trucking apprenticeship programs. This credit would also be valid for the next 2 years. The legislation is endorsed by the ATA, the Trucking Association of New York Farm Bureau Federation, International Food Service Distributors Association, and the Teamsters. Now, whether the bill makes it through all the hurdles necessary to be signed into law remains to be seen, but we'll be keeping an eye on it and let you know of any new developments. For more on the story, including reactions from the ATA and the Trucking Association of New York, you can read more on truckersnews.com. Link down below. Now, let's check in with our good friend, Jason Miller.
Welcome everyone to our latest market update. So as we kind of begin, I want to first say the good news is the flatbed sector has actually been doing quite well from a spot pricing standpoint, according to DAT. But if we take a look at the bigger picture, the broader dry van sector, it's not been a good February or a good March. So we've seen spot prices as the time of filming drop down in March to $1.99 per mile. Since diesel's been basically unchanged since September, let's say mid-September of last year, all that decline is a line haul decline. So we're basically back to where we were in late September, early October. With that, we haven't seen the contract rates, the DAT reports come down as much. So sort of that spot market cycle indicator that indicates the spread between those two metrics. Typically when it's high, that means it's a tight market, low means loose. We've seen it move to the looser side at the moment. Now, one question I'll often get is, well, how can we have faith in any individual group's pricing data? Well, when you look at DAT's spot and contract data, especially that contract piece tracks very closely to what the Bureau of Labor Statistics collects from trucking companies directly through the Producer Price Index program. And especially over time, that BLS data and the DAT data for contract rates have aligned more and more, which makes good sense given how the market is increasingly fast moving and adjusts more aggressively. So that should make everybody feel good that those series are correlating with each other the way they are. Now, as we're sitting here end of March at time of filming, question of course comes up, so well, why did March not get a little better? And certainly I was thinking we would be starting to see more signs of life. And the answer appears to be at the moment is that new order momentum for manufacturing has weakened substantially in March, and even ISM picked up a weakening in February. But multiple Federal Reserve Board PMI, so purchasing manager type indices, showed weakening of manufacturing new order activity in March. Most of this seems to be in response to tariff concerns. And that's been combined with a sharp increase in upward pricing pressure for raw materials. So ISM picked that up in February, but then especially the Fed Bank's PMIs have started to pick that up here in March. And so that is a troubling combination at the moment, because the natural response the Federal Reserve Board would like to do to weakening new order momentum would be, let's say, cut interest rates. But if you're seeing manufacturers report upward pricing pressure on materials, that's going to counterbalance that Fed decision. So right now, what we're really waiting and seeing is some clarity on this reciprocal tariff conversation that should be taking place soon. Once we have that, we may be able to make a little bit better forecast for where things are going. But that wraps up this market update, and we'll see you next month.
Well, thank you for that, Jason. We look forward to hearing from you again next month as things continue to unfold. That's going to just about do it for us here on the 30-Day Reset. If you want more information on anything we covered, that can again be found down below in this month's 30-Day Reset download. There's also a contact link and a link for Stratas down there as well. If you ever want to dig into any of the numbers for yourself, take a look at Stratas. We look forward to seeing you back here next time for another update with an all-new 30-Day Reset. Until then, thanks for watching.